Take on some responsibility. Do something for other people. You're doing something for yourself while you're doing that, even if you don't know it, for sure, because you're a community across time. Find a job, do your best with the customers. You're going to get an entry-level job when you're a kid. You want to be the boss? What do you know? You don't know anything. You could be the boss of your job. If you're working in a grocery store, or you're working in a convenience store, assuming you're not working for terrified tyrants, you can be nice to the customers. You can develop your social skills. You can learn how to handle boss-employee relationship. You can be there 15 minutes early and leave 15 minutes late. If you take an entry-level job and you learn, you will not be in an entry-level job for long, because everyone who's competent is desperate for competent people. And if you go and show yourself as competent, all sorts of doors you didn't even know were there will start opening like mad. For discipline, one of the chapters in my books is focused on putting your house in order. It's like, well, how do you start? Make your bed. It actually took me quite a long time in my life before I made my bed regularly in the morning. Most of my life was in pretty good order, but that was one thing I didn't have in order. My clothes in my closet as well, all that's in order. Not all of it. I'm cleaning out some drawers right now, but look around and see what bugs you in your room. Just look. Okay, I'm in my room. Do I like this room? No, it bugs me. Okay, why? Well, the paint's peeling there and it's dusty there and the carpet's dirty and that corner's kind of ugly and the light there isn't very good and my clothes closet's a mess, so I don't even like to open it. Okay, that's a lot of problems. That's a lot of opportunity. Pick something and fix it, but not too much. So the rule is pick a problem. Pick a solution to it that you know would help, that you could do, that you would do. So you have to negotiate with yourself. It's like, well, I won't clean up this room. How do you know? I've been in here for 10 years and I've never cleaned it up. It's like, well, obviously that's too big a dragon for you. Would you clean one drawer? Find out. And so imagine now you want to be happy when you open that drawer. And you think, well, that's stupid. It's like, is it? Maybe it's your sock drawer, which I cleaned up in my room the other day, by the way. You're gonna open that every morning. So that's like 30 seconds of your life every day. Okay, so that's 3 minutes a week, that's 12 minutes a month, that's 2 hours a year. So maybe your life is made out of, you've got 16 hours a day. Let's figure this out. 12 in an hour, 12 in an hour, 144 in 12 hours. Yeah, let's say 200 5-minute chunks. That's your life. So you got 200 5-minute chunks and they repeat. A lot of them repeat. So if you get every one of those right, they're trivial, right? Who cares what my sock drawer looks like? It's like, fair enough, man, but that's your life. The things you repeat every day, the mundane things. Think I could get all those mundane things right. That's the game rules. It's like now all the mundane is in place. Now you can play because all the mundane's in place. And this is actually true. So with children, imagine you want your children to play. Well, play is very fragile neurologically. Any competing motivation or emotion will suppress play. So everything has to be in order. Everything has to be a walled garden before the children will play. That's a good way of thinking about it. So you put everything in order and you think, oh my God, now I'm tyrannized by this order. It's like, no, you aren't, not if it's voluntary. And then the order is the precondition for the freedom. And so then all of a sudden you get all these things in order. It's like, oh, look at this. I've got some room to play here. And then maybe you're not depressed. Now it's often not that simple, you know, it's not that simple. Try putting your room in order, perfect order. You know, I thought I did that with my clients a lot. So a lot of them would come home from work, the guys, say, and their wives would meet them at the door and it'd be a fight right away. You know, and it's a clash there because he comes home and he's tired and hungry. He's worked all day and he's hoping that, you know, he gets welcomed when he comes back to the home, but then the wife is at home and she's been with the kids all day and she's tired and hungry and she's hoping that when he comes home, he'll show her some appreciation for what's happened today. And then they clash and then they both have problems to discuss because they've had their troubles during the day. And so then every time they get together, they're not like it's a bit of a fight for 20 minutes and then the whole evening is screwed. And so then you think, okay, here's the deal. Okay, you get to pick what happens when you come home. But you have to figure out what it is. So now this is the deal. You treat yourself properly. You imagine coming home and it goes the way you want and need it to go. That sounds pretty good. It might not be perfect, but sounds a hell of a lot better than what we're doing now. So how about we'll go talk to your wife. This is what's happening when I come home. I would like it to be better. What would you like to have happen? And then now you got two visions. Okay, now how can we bring these visions together? So not only do we both get what we want, but because we've brought them together, we even get more than we want. Well, who wouldn't agree to that unless they were aiming down? And that's so exciting. It's not a compromise. It's a union of ideals that even makes a better ideal. And then you get to come home. And then there's another rule that goes along with that, which is, please, dear, have the grace to allow me to do this stupidly and badly while I learn at least 20 times. And I'll give you the same leeway. And then we'll practice stupidly for 20 times and we'll talk about it. And then maybe we'll get it right for the next 10,000 times, right? You can do that with your whole life, and you can do that with your kids, and you can do that with your family. Like, it's not easy, but you can do it. It's a lot easier than the alternative. Here's the right question. How do I make myself into the perfect date? You answer that question, and you will not have any problem answering the previous question. It's like, what do I want in a partner? If I offered everything I could to a partner, who would I be? Ask that question. Just ask. Just ask yourself, okay, well, it's a pattern. There's patterns happening around you. That's the music, patterns. Now, can you align yourself with the patterns of being gracefully? Then can you do that with her? And then can you do that in a playful and attentive manner and keep your bloody hands to yourself for at least a minute? And so, can you dance in a playful manner? It's like you can go through this in your imagination, and you know. And then you think, well, how far am I from those things? And the answer is usually, man, it's a pretty horrible abyss separating you from that ideal. But the harder you work on offering other people what they need and want, the more people will line up to play with you. And so it's the wrong question. It's like, how can I be the best partner possible? And then you think, well, if I do that, people will just take advantage of me. And that's the non-naive objection. Right? Because the naive person thinks, well, I'll be good and everyone will treat me right. It's like the cynic says, no, I'll be good and someone will take me out. And then you think, well, what do you do about that objection? And the answer is, well, you factor that in. I know you're full of snakes. I know it. Maybe I know it more than you do, but we'll play anyways. And what's so cool about that is that even though the person you're dealing with is full of snakes, if you offer your hand in trust and it's real, you will evoke the best in them.
Yeah.
And that's true. Even I've dealt with people who were pretty damn criminal and pretty psychopathic, and sometimes dangerously so. And you tread very lightly when you're dealing with someone like that, especially if they're intoxicated. Even then, your best bet is alert trust. Like, I had one client who was he was a paranoid psychopath. That's a bad combination. He was a bad guy, man. He had like 4 restraining orders on him. And restraining orders don't work on the sort of people that you put restraining orders on. And he used to be harassed now and then by, a bureaucrat in a bank with delusions of power. And he would say to them, I'm going to be your worst nightmare. And he meant it.
Yeah.
And he would do it. He had this obsessional, psychopathic vengeance. So they're watching you for any sign of deceit or manipulation, and they're really good at it. Even under those circumstances, if you step carefully enough, maybe you can avoid the acts. That's a good thing to know if you ever meet someone truly dangerous.